So here's what we need to understand first. Now, number one, we have the soul, okay? We have the soul, which is completely unhindered by the ego, by needing money, you know, all these bodily desires that we have that comes with having a brain and hormones and all these things. Now, we have that. Then we also have, and I mean, remember, the soul is also your consciousness. Now we also have the consciousness of the biology of the body. Have you thought about that?
No.
Yeah. So here we have two parts.
Right.
It's not just the soul. Your soul is trying so hard to get you on your purpose. But the soul purpose and the biology of the body, the body's consciousness purpose, has to align. You have to align the two in order to step and to find and to channel your real true purpose. Why? Why? Here's the catch. The soul comes in and it already knows what it needs to do. And it's all about love. It's all about connection. It's all about community. But now here comes the biology of the body's ego. The ego is causing the separation. The ego is causing the need for money. We have the reptilian mind. If you put your finger at the back of your head, there's like this little knob. Right below that is your reptilian mind. That is the medulla, our instinctive responses, which started there, right? So this is our primal instinctive responses of survival, protection, money, reproducing, you know, being competitive and all these things. And these are all lower vibrations. And sometimes we get stuck in the body's consciousness in these lower vibrations. And it makes it hard for the soul to penetrate through to the body's consciousness and to lift it out of that so that the two can now work in alignment and to merge and to be on your purpose and path. Because here's what's happening. Your body is now so focused, and look at what my example. This is why I started with my example saying I had to work, and you know, I was so angry at my dad. I was so frustrated. I wanted to prove him wrong. I felt so useless. I felt so unseen and invisible that I worked extremely hard to get that validation, and not just from him, but from the world. That's what I wanted. I was thinking that my purpose is going to make me happy, but no, all that I wanted was what the purpose is going to end up giving me was acknowledgement, to feel that I'm important, to feel that my self-worth is, you know, being lifted, to feel like I matter. Can you imagine if I had to heal all these points, that I started to see the world differently? I started to see my purposes differently, because your biology of your body, your emotions, your trauma shapes. And that is what determines what ends up becoming your purpose, or at least what you think your purpose is. Now we have the soul's purpose and we have the body's purpose. The body's purpose is more stemming from a place of our wounded decisions that we make, from seeing the world through filters that comes from pain. You know how pain from your past can shape how you see the world, how you see people. It shapes everything. And the soul is like, well, I don't really want to be in that vibration. This is not really where we're meant to be. A body like, hey, can you hear me? The body's like, I want it to work. I need to survive, compete. I want to be better than that person. Compete. And the soul is just like, oh my God. Let me know when you're done. Let me know when you're exhausted. Let me know when you're on your knees tired, when you're ready to hear me, so that we can do the work together. Okay? So this is this is really what happens. This is what the soul is basically waiting just for us to align to it, so that it can channel and do its work through us as the channels and the conduits that we agree to be. You, as the biology of the body, you are a conduit. You are the conduit. But are you setting up your filters so that the soul can come through? Probably not, because we get stuck in our pain. We get stuck in self-sabotage. We get stuck in our escapisms. We get stuck in our secondary gains. And we get stuck in building fast ways that can make us feel good around our pain and problems. And that means, and that at the end of the day, that creates more problems. And that pulls us further and further and further away into this low vibration. And the soul is just like, I'm not going down there. I'll wait for you to come back up. And so how can you live your soul's purpose if you can't even hear? what your soul is trying to tell you.
May I just jump in here? Because I so agree, because I do Norwegian live webinars about this, and that's exactly what I'm saying, that
Oh,
our soul wants us to grow. Our soul wants us to listen. Our soul wants us to go inside. So when we're hustling to find our purpose, it won't come because it's not that energy. Your soul actually wants you to expand your consciousness, become more of who you are, grow. And out of that, your consciousness will not your purpose will unfold. Like I was totally in the same victimhood. I was a former musical theater artist. It was all about the acknowledgement because I didn't know anything else. I thought as a young child, because I was a musical theater star in Norway, that acknowledgement and applause was love, that it equaled love. That was my mindset. That was my belief system. So I needed to reframe everything and realize on the spiritual journey, actually all by myself, because we didn't have YouTube and stuff like that at that time, that, oh my goodness, I am valuable just by being born. And maybe there's a deeper purpose for me. Maybe my purpose is not to be a singer and a musical theater star. Maybe there's something deeper here. But that was a long, long process. It took me so many years. And I had exactly the same relationship to the divine as you had. You know, this anger, this like, why are you not here? Like, I remember I was 12 or 13. I went into the woods. I sat there, like in between school, classes. I sat there and I was like, angels, where are you? Where the frick are you? I'm calling out, ETs, come and pick me up. Like I had this knowledge or this knowing that they were there, but they didn't speak to me. Like I was so angry. So I've had
yeah,
exactly the same, like this resistance toward the divine. But
yeah,
once I started to surrender, not fight so much, I started to let things unfold and happen. And I increased, or I really worked on self-love and feeling valuable, understanding that I was valuable. That's when all of a sudden, when I got this idea with doing these interviews, I'm like, I'm going to do it for myself. No matter what people say, I feel joy. And I want to mention something for everybody. I believe that joy is where your purpose is. It's
yeah.
actually going quite easy for you, where it just feels natural to do it. Like sometimes the purpose can be like, was that my purpose? But it just feels so easy. Yeah, because that's a natural skill and ability that you have. Like I'm so curious. I've been curious since I was a 3-year-old, and my brother has been like, "Oh, you ask so many questions." What? That's what I'm doing now. I'm asking questions because I love it, right? So
Yeah.
we are born with this. And back a little bit to, our spiritual sort of pre-birth plan. Do you believe that we all have a specific purpose or purposes?
I personally do feel that we do, yes. And the reason why I say that is when you look at how the soul works, when the soul comes in, we have our individuality, but you also have your soul signature, which means what makes you unique when you combine all of the experiences that you've had. Of course, it's going to be a little bit different to what other souls have experienced when you accumulate, different linears and dimensions that you also exist on. All this, it's like you have this little hub where you exist, and you can also channel this energy as a soul through different parts of being alive as well, different planets, different ways of existing. So we all know that. So this is where you also continue to grow, and you grow and you change and you change. And as you grow and change, we need experiences that we can build on. So if there's something that your soul feels like, I don't have enough of a certain experience that I would like to have in order to grow and grow and change and elevate a little bit more, then we go in and we go look for different people and different dimensions and different soul families that we can connect through, and that we also have our soul's council, discuss what are we going to do, what is going to be next. Of course, you don't just do all of this by yourself. You have your support system. There's so much support that is out there that we can't see, but we can hear the support of what needs to come through from the soul and the make. So absolutely, yes, I feel that we do have specific purposes, but sometimes what we also have is a purpose to serve, and we have a purpose from the soul, meaning a purpose from the soul to serve the world, but we also have a purpose from the soul to serve ourselves. And mine, for example, is my purpose is to learn to trust again in this lifetime. And my other purpose is to help people to learn to trust as well, but to also to heal from what they were never able to heal from.
Wow.
Right? So I'm here to help people to that thing that they've never been able to heal in their life. That's one of my purposes, is to help them to heal that, is help them to shift that, to awaken, be above and beyond where they have been stuck. So that's one of my purposes as well. And I have many, like you. I believe we have many purposes. And I want to shed just light quickly, briefly on this, because the fact that you exist, that is already your purpose. This is your baseline. This is where it starts. And here is why, because the fact that you just exist, now that means that the way that you live your life, you say something and someone hears it in a conversation and boom, it changes their life. But you are blissfully unaware of that. You don't see that feedback. Right? So now look how we are demeaning and devaluing our existence just because our egos don't get to see the feedback of how we are contributing to other people's lives. But the ego needs to see it. We can't believe that we are that great, that we are that amazing. You have no idea how just your presence have helped maybe someone to heal or to soothe them or to support them. Or maybe you did something that created a chain reaction into someone else's life and it shifted amazing things for them that helped them to take the next step in their life. I think it's really sad how narrow we make the concept of what a purpose is. This is absolutely important to start to learn and to grasp, because did you also know that by you just healing yourself, you are changing the world? How? Because when you talk to someone in that healed vibration, your vibration is calling that person into that same healed vibration. And you know what you're doing? You are opening up the potential for them to step into that and to awaken to that and start to move towards that themselves. Did you know that? This is how the electromagnetic fields work in the biology of the body as well. That's how we transmit these messages to one another. Your thoughts generate, and what you've created for yourself, it generates electromagnetic field. We all know that this is absolute science. And these electromagnetic fields can hold and program thoughts, vibrations, and ideas, and everything that you've done. This is how, when you meet someone and they don't say a word, but you can feel if this person is good or bad, your electromagnetic fields are communing to one another, because electromagnetic fields can manipulate and program and change atoms. It can relay the message that you were thinking and feeling or holding in these electromagnetic fields, and you are made of atoms, right? You're made of atoms. So these fields are coming to you. Your atoms are absorbing the information from it. And that information is relayed back into the biology of the body through emotions, sensations, thoughts, and ideas. This is very important. This is how we can support and help each other. But if we abuse someone, if we attack them, we lower their vibration by putting all these bad thoughts and negative feelings and ideas into their mind. Right? And that can actually lower their vibration. So the fact that you are working on yourself, the fact that you can just keep your mind positive or say positive things to other people, that for me personally is one of the greatest purposes that you can have in this life, because it is a gift that will never, ever stop giving.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.
Resto maliata falia.